In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Fortnite villains that I think deserve a second chance, or I think they should return to the storyline at some point in the future. Fortnite is honestly pretty good at creating villains, but they tend to be one-off villains, meaning they only last for a season, which is honestly a bummer because these villains could be really cool to see throughout the years of Fortnite. But be sure to let me know your opinion down in the comments below. If you enjoy my videos, be sure to use code TuneSpider in the Fortnite item shop to support me. And now let's get started. Alright, so the first villain I want to talk about that I think should return is Valyria. I mean, for starters, she's a really cool character. She's smart, she has fire manipulation, she opened Pandora's box, she really kicked off the Chapter 5 storyline, and on top of that, she is Hope's sister. I would honestly really love to see more of that dynamic in the future, since Hope will most likely continue to be one of the main characters in the Fortnite storyline. I really think there's a lot that they could do with Valyria. I would love to see her return as soon as Chapter 7. I think her return could leave a big impact on Hope and the storyline in general. Could definitely add a little drama. Nothing wrong with a little drama to a story. And I think her powers are pretty cool. I would love to see those in action in a cinematic. So Valyria is definitely at the top of my list for a Fortnite villain that I want to return. And then the next one is going to be Kado Thorne. I mean, he's got a time machine, he's a vampire, he has the vaults. I mean, he just kind of has that pure villain energy. Plus, he was pretty dripped out, I'm not gonna lie. I think he was very powerful, pretty calculated. I think he could be like the King the Conqueror of the Fortnite universe because he's been doing this time traveling. There could be alternate reality Kado Thorns out there. I think that would be really cool, especially if we continue to go to different realities in the storyline. I would really love to see him return someday. Moving on to the next villain that I would love to see return is Megalodon. First off, I think his design is so sick. I think his ship was really cool. The way he uses the nitro is pretty awesome. I think he's a villain that has like untapped potential that could just absolutely cause chaos in a brutal way. With his reactive style, I could totally see him coming back for like maybe some like kind of fire themed season. That would be a good time to bring back Valyria as well. Realistically, I think he could be a major threat. He gives me vibes that he could be like Bane for our heroes, and I think we need more brute force type villains. Next up is the Cube Queen. I mean, she wasn't really just a villain, she was like a universal threat, and I feel like with that kind of importance, we definitely need to see her return at some point. The Chapter 2 Season 8 was pretty much centered around her. I think she was absolutely legendary. Her power level was insane. You could really feel her presence on the island and in the event. I just feel like she has to come back at some point, especially if they end up bringing back the last reality. In my opinion, she was just too good of a villain to not bring back. And then next on the list is going to be Dr. Slone, kind of a redeemable villain in a way, based on the fact that she helped us at the end of Chapter 4 that caused the Big Bang, when she was definitely one of the most layered storyline characters from the Donald Mustard era. I mean, she betrayed us, she fought us, and then it seems like maybe sacrificed herself to stop the IO. She was ruthless, but she believed she was protecting reality. She was pretty smart. She's definitely a character I think should return. Plus, I believe she was hinted by Hope's graffiti in the Chapter 2 remix season, so I feel like at some point we're going to be seeing her soon. Moving on to the next villain, that is going to be Geno. He's definitely been mentioned throughout the storyline. He's really the big bad of the Fortnite universe, even though we have hardly seen him. We know the guy is obsessed with perfection, but he's kind of on fraud watch, I'm not gonna lie, because the only time we really saw him was in the Marvel comics, the Zero War comics, and he got bodied by his daughters in like 30 seconds. He had like one panel of aura and then just got wiped. But we could take that appearance as a tease, not a conclusion to the character. He's most likely still out there rebuilding. Who knows, he could be the Dark Presence. I don't think so, but you never know. But he could come back leading a new IO faction, evolved and more dangerous. He's another villain that I just feel like we need to see again kind of soon, whether it's Chapter 7 or Chapter 8. The next villain definitely has a nostalgic factor to it, and that's the Devourer. This is mainly for the OG Season 9 storyline. So when we get a replay Chapter 1 Season 9, I believe they're going to be creating this event. We definitely need to see the Devourer. I'm going to be honest, I would actually love to see the Devourer win. I think that'd be super interesting in how that would lead into Season X and what would be different. They could make him bigger, stronger. It's terrorizing the island during Season X maybe. I would love to see how that would play out, because in a way this monster is an iconic villain and was part of one of like the coolest and biggest events in Fortnite history. Next up is Montague. So he was part of the Chapter 5 Season 1 storyline. It's also hinted that he's working with Midas right now. I believe that was hinted back in like Lawless, I think. But I mean, this is a rich guy that was funding the society. He had the hotel. I think there is a lot to this character that could be explored. There's so much secrecy to him, and his full story definitely hasn't played out. I would love to see more about this character. I think he could be a very grounded villain for seasons to come. Who knows, he could return as like a criminal mastermind, or he could like fund a new society. I think there's so much to explore to that character that I would love to see in Fortnite's future. Next is Fletcher Kane, and honestly, I'm just super curious what happened to him. I mean, this guy caused inflation on the island. He taxed us. I'm just super curious where he went after Daigo double-crossed him. I think he has a really cool design. I think he has some pretty unique lore to him. I really hope we do get to see him again. Who knows, maybe he could work with Montague, maybe he could work with Valyria. I think it could be very interesting if we start off like chapter 7 season 1, or maybe like chapter 8 season 1, and the whole island is being ran by like these different villains. I think that could be very interesting. But no matter what, I would love to see this character again. Next is the Herald. I definitely thought we would see her again. I mean, she was the one that ruined the island for us, right? And I think because she has a survey skin out there, hopefully they haven't scrapped it. Hopefully it is a design that they plan on doing in the future. I think she can be considered like a terrifying villain that definitely causes destruction, and I think it'd be pretty cool to see it play out if we defeat her. And I think if the last reality isn't done, then the Herald shouldn't be either. Now moving on to Zeus, this one is more for humor. I'm going to be honest with you, because Zeus can be very full of himself. And yeah, he did bring chaos to the island. He wanted to kill the mortals, all that. I think he should just return for like memes. I think it'd be funny if he returned and he was just like apologizing for what he did. He just wants to have his own space on the island for the gods, and he just wants to live out the rest of his days chilling, looking like the Zeus from Thor Love and Thunder. So yeah, I'd like to see him return, just not as a threat. Then next up is Gunner. I mean, the enforcer, the muscle behind the Imagine Order. I think he's definitely got to return. He had a pretty cool suit, and I think that there's going to end up being a war again in the future, or as long as Geno returns at some point, I think Gunner needs to return as well. Another villain would be Bytes. Now I know a lot of people don't really like his skin, but he had a pretty like transformational storyline, how he started working for the Nothing, connected himself to the Herald. I think he could have a different design this time, and if the Nothing is still around, I would love to see, is he still working for the Nothing? I think that could be very interesting. The next villain that I would love to see return is the Chaos Agent. Now I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen him in the storyline, back when he was a rival with Midas, and because there's been so much focus on Midas, I think it'd be really cool to bring back Chaos Agent. Plus he just has a really cool look. He looks like a cool villain, and I would love to know more about the character, and I feel like he can make an impact on the storyline, especially for Midas. Now these next two are kind of obvious. Of course, I want to continue to see the Dark Presence. I think it'd be really cool if this villain got dragged into chapter 7, maybe even chapter 8, or at least the finale of a chapter 7 event. I really want to see our main characters struggle and fear the Dark Presence, and I feel like it ending at chapter 6 wouldn't do that. I feel like there's so much to explore with the Dark Presence. And now he's not really a villain anymore, but he was portrayed as one in chapter 6 season 3. I would just like to see more Daigo, not necessarily as a villain, but I want to continue to see his redemption in chapter 7. I think he's a really good character, honestly one of the best storyline characters we've ever had in this game, and I would really like to see his story continue, but I could also see him staying on the chapter 6 island if it doesn't get absolutely destroyed in the event coming up. And then last but not least is the Ice King. I definitely think we're going to get him the next OG season. He was just so like powerful and mystical. It was really cool that he had this like Polar Peak castle. I know we didn't have NPCs in chapter 1, but I think it'd be interesting if he was an NPC on the OG season 7 island, or if he showed up in like chapter 7 season 2 for the Norse mythology season. I still think there's good potential for the Ice King to return, and he has such a sick design. I would love to see that remix as well. But there you have it. Those are the villains that I would love to see return in the future of Fortnite, because I don't think their stories are over. I think there's still so much more they can do with these characters. I really don't want them to be one-off villains at the end of the day. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to join my Discord server, that link is going to be in the description, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace!